So sharing my screen here. So before I begin, just a few words. So today is a business Tuesday. So we are talking business, not products, right? But to build a huge and successful business, $1 billion business, you need a product that solves a problem of people that is consumed every single day. It goes into a habit. It's bought every month, and it's something that most of the people need, and you are ahead of the curve. So that's why product is important. Then you need the company that shares percent of the turnover with you, basically, which means that your business is placing a meters like a electricity meter that calculates how much electricity turns through it, right? So your business is placing those meters between the production and consumption, between the customer and the company. And three is team that you learn from the success stories, the success ways of building this business. So now, thank you, Danny. Danny started with the company, and that the company is reliable, and the company is not new, and it has no debts, and the company is very, very strong financially, and it is built on true good values. So now let's go into the products. So basically, first of all, what we need to start with is a problem that those products are solving. Because if there's no problem, there's nothing to solve. So the problem is this. Almost every single person on this earth today is experiencing this problem one way or another. Our food has changed. So our food is no longer the same. It is, well, it was produced by Mother Nature, but today it's man-made. The animals that are grown in farms, they do not eat what they were eating in the past. So they eat corn, grain, and soy. And those are not so rich in many micronutrients. And they are very rich in omega-6s, in certain type of fat that increases inflammation in the body. And also the tomato is grown on a depleted soil. So you get from vegetables and fruits, you get less vitamins and micronutrients. And then we eat less food because we are so physically inactive. We are not active physically. So we eat less food. So we eat less fiber, less vitamins, and less good fats. So this creates a problem of deficiency of three main things. The first is omega-3s, and you probably heard of omegas, but I don't know if you learned what that really means to you personally. So what does the deficiency of omega-3 means to you and to your future? So that's number one. Number two is fiber for the gut, for the good bacteria in your gut. And number three is vitamins and micronutrients. So now let's get into the fatty acids, because most of the scientists on the planet will tell you this, that fatty acids balance between omega-6s and omega-3s might be the number one cause of premature death today and a lot of different problems in our bodies. So now, in the past, genetically, we were created for the ratio of omega-6s and omega-3s, 1-to-1. It's an equal amount of omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids. Now, both of those are essential, which means if you run out of omega-3s completely, you die. If you run out completely of omega-6s, you die. And your body cannot produce any of those. So now, to get the right balance, you need to eat the right balance of those ingredients, of those nutrients. And that's how we were genetically created, to have 1-to-1 ratio in our cells. And up to 3-to-1, 3 times more omega-6, it's still okay. Your cells are still functioning properly. But if you exceed 3-to-1 ratio, then your cells start making errors. And every function in your body that your body does is done by the cells. So if cells start making errors, it shows up as symptoms or as dysfunctions of your organs, of your systems in the body. So now, unfortunately, as I told, omega-6s is grain, corn, soy, and everything that grows on the ground. And we eat more and more and more and more of that. Pizzas and pastas, and even if you don't, then you eat meat or eggs and maybe milk products, and they are loaded with omega-6. So now, and we eat less and less and less of omega-3s. So today, the ratio is 15-1 in Europe. That's the average. And the more north you go, it's better. The more south you go, it's worse. Like in Portugal, I'm in Lisbon right now. It's 18-1 in Lisbon. And in the United States, it's 25-1. Now, that's just numbers. What does that mean to you, to your health, and to the health of your children, and to the health of your elderly parents? So first of all, have any of you experienced some difficulty with your brain function? You sleep not so well and you wake up unrested in the morning. You wake up and you feel tired, although you slept the whole night. That might be one of the symptoms of lack of omega-3 in your brain. Your brain function starts having difficulties, or you cannot concentrate your attention pretty well. And at midday, you are taking the third cup of coffee, and you're a bit sleepy, and you feel tired, and you do more mistakes. Has any one of you experienced that? I experienced that many, many times in the past because I was deficient of those key ingredients that my brain is constructed of. Now, in children, how many of you heard that children have a difficulty concentrating their attention today? And maybe some of you have some memory issues. You cannot remember things that you could in the past. So all of those things, this is symptoms of omega-3 deficiency. Now, has any of you ever taken a medication that is anti-inflammatory? So to reduce fever, so have any of you had fever in the past? And have you taken that medication? Yes, you did. Most of us did. And some of us still do several times per year, 2, 3, or even 5 times per year. And that might not be necessary because if you increase your omega-3s and decrease omega-6s, your body may function properly and you may not need. So for the last 10 years, I haven't been using those medication anymore. And before balancing the fatty acids, I was using them as an average individual, as everyone. Although I'm a doctor, I'm not immune to the things that people experience. So I was using a lot of medication. I had to take different medication. So inflammation is another issue. So omega-6s increase inflammation, omega-3s decrease inflammation. So if you have inflammation in your skin, if your skin starts looking older, faster, that might be one of the symptoms of omega-3 deficiency. So you don't want to look old. We don't want to look old. We don't want to feel old. We want to stay young. We want to stay elastic in our body. And that is also what omega-3 does to your body. The more omega-3 you have, the more elastic you are. So when you walk, when elderly people who are balanced walk, sometimes you cannot say that they are really old. So sometimes it feels like they are really young. And many other things. So your heart and cardiovascular system function starts being decreased if you are deficient in omega-3s. So as you can see, there's pains in the back, pains in the joints. All of those might be the symptoms of omega-3 deficiency. And one more thing. Some people take vitamins and micronutrients and feel big effect. They take the same vitamin, micronutrient complex, and they say, oh, it doesn't feel that it's working on me. And that might be also the symptom of omega-3 deficiency and omega-6 overload and saturated fat overload, because cell membranes lose the ability to let the nutrients in the cell and let the waste to cross the membrane out of the cell. So every cell in your body starts being deficient in many nutrients. So basically, in simple words, starts being hungry and intoxicated by their own metabolites. So all of the cells in your body starts having problems with their regular functions. So this is not something good, believe me. So the first thing you want to correct is the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, fatty acids. And how do you know? Well, you can guess about it, and you will most probably be wrong, as I was, or you can test it. The laboratory that we are using, so Zinzino is not a laboratory. We don't own a laboratory. We don't have the laboratory. We are just customers to the laboratory that is in Oslo, in the Innovation Center, next to Clinical Hospital of Oslo, next to University of Oslo. That's a laboratory with many, many inventions. If I'm not wrong, it's like 600 new inventions that this laboratory published. It's one of the best known laboratories on the planet. So we just send the blood, the samples, and we get the reports. And once we test that, when I was tested for the first time, first of all, being a doctor, I was really embarrassed because I had no clue this test existed. And if you are a doctor, don't be shy or don't be embarrassed that much, because I was not trained in medical university about this particular test and how important this was. I was told about, yeah, omega-3 is important. And everyone who told me in my university, my medical university, they were deficient in omega-3. And those they told too, they were deficient in omega-3. So today, what I say is, people say, oh yeah, I know omega-3. I say, if you know and you are still deficient, that's even worse. That probably means you don't know. You don't know anything about it, because if you knew, you would be fixed back to the norm. That's how important this is. So I was 11-1. I was in the red zone. I was taking omega-3 supplements and I was in the red zone. That's a tragedy talking about me personally, but that's a revelation talking about business of Zinzino, because now we have the solution. So look at this. In small numbers, minus 74% of EPA. That's omega-3, one of the main ingredients of omega-3. That's like 1/4 is what I had. 3/4 is what I was missing. So it's like, imagine a car that has 4 wheels and there's only 1 tire on 1 wheel. 3 wheels are without tires. And how would that car drive? How would that be to drive that car? It doesn't start right. It doesn't stop right. It doesn't turn right. So everything it does, it has a problem. And nothing will change that, just returning back the tires. This is how omega-3 is important for your body. It's just like tires on the car. So now, well, and I was not the only one. We, with Zinzino, we made 1,300,000 and more tests so far. And the ratios are 22-1, as you can see, 15-1, 18-1. Very, very bad. So most of the people on the planet are in trouble. So if you think now back to the business, so most of the people on the planet have this problem of deficiency. We can test it and we can correct it. And our competitors are not so good at doing all of those things. Very few competitors offer a independent laboratory test. And why? Because their products are not functional. So we are offering independent laboratory tests because we know those products really work. And so we did not create those products, by the way. We just bought a company of scientists who created that. So now, well, this is a perfect spot to be in business-wise. We have a problem worldwide, we have a test, we have a solution, and others are not giving the solution that really functions well. So, but still, if we don't use it properly, the second test is not going to be all green. And this was me, because I was skeptical. I was taking balance oil from a bottle, just sipped a little bit, and I thought it was enough. So then I stepped up, and now since then, for the last 10 years, I'm keeping myself in the ratio between 1:1 and 2:1, and my body transformed. I could say I almost got a new body, because before I had asthma, I don't experience asthma anymore. I don't need any medication anymore. And I don't take many other medications that I was taking, like anti-inflammatories and antibiotics, because my bronchi would get inflammation and bacteria would start growing and I would need that. So, and my children, they are healthier and my parents are healthier. So all around me now is much healthier than when I was a doctor. So doctor is not a solution to be healthy. Doctor is a solution when you need an emergency service. So something is very painful in your body or something. So then they can symptomatically help you. And sometimes there is a cure. But we need to take care of our health preventatively. So we have all the certificates that you can think of, informed sports as well. That means that professional athletes can use the products. It's non-GMO, gluten-free, sugar-free, and all of those. Now, age category is everyone. It's from the baby in the belly, then to the newborn baby. My son, he's 3 years old. He is taking balance oil since he was born, and till the oldest age. And well, as professional athletes, maybe some of you know some professional athletes, we have a huge teams and professional Olympic athletes, national athletes who are taking our products because they improve functions of the body so much. So these are our brand ambassadors all over the planet. But back to business. So now you have the company that is reliable, that is paying you percent from the turnover. You have the perfect product that once people start taking it, once they retest, they don't want to discontinue. So that's why we have more and more and more customers with every year. But what's in it for you? What can you do with this? What can you create with this? How can you benefit from that? So Danny,